Hi. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I'd like to ask, is there anything that you've been saying in your house randomly that you've been locked into? What's it called? I don't know the term for that, but there's a phrase that you say or something you're doing that you're locked into that you find funny that you keep repeating that you can't stop. My current thing, I don't know what it is. WGFT by Gunna and Burna Boy. We're getting fucked tonight. I think that's funny. I keep singing that though because I think it's funny and I love that song so much, but like singing it obnoxiously makes it like 10 times better. We are back and we are talking about something entirely different than lyric that I like to yell at inappropriately that my neighbors can hear. We are talking about a luxury grocery store again. So a while back, I talked about Erewhon and how I found that some of this stuff was just a little weird, a little problematic to me. There were some pros when it comes to Erewhon, I believe, and there's some cons. Well, I'd like to introduce you to Meadow Lane, which is actually based in New York and is one that has some controversies attached to it. And we're going to dive into this a little bit more. Now, I want to say that I have also slightly fluctuated my perspective when it comes to luxury grocery stores or, expensive grocery stores. And I want to kind of share that with you guys because, again, I always think it's important to be adamant about changing your mind, learning new things, and growing as an individual, or just like, hey, I learned a new thing and I have a different opinion. So that's what we're doing today. We're talking about allegedly raw chicken nuggets, overpriced products, and a founder that's out of touch. Let's get into the topic of Meadow Lane. Before we start, don't forget to check my Instagram and TikTok and all that good stuff in the link in the description below and pin comment. Now, real quickly, let's get a word from the sponsor of today's video. You guys are going to love this one. Speaking of things that are better for you, I want to talk to you about the sponsor of today's video, which is Typology. And I absolutely love their brand because they are a tinted skincare brand that offers a wide variety of products that I absolutely love. So I'm going to put some of them on as I tell you all about them. Typology is a vegan and cruelty-free skincare brand that has tinted products. I want to put on the T11 serums. You can apply tinted skincare and serum with your hands. You don't need a makeup brush for this. It has vitamin C, squalane, and aloe vera. So this is very, very hydrating and it's going to feel really good on your skin. It's lightweight and provides coverage, but it's not a foundation because if you are somebody that does not like the feel of foundation, you're going to love this. Now next is the Typology Concealer. This is probably one of my favorite products, like hands down now after I've been using them for so long. This has caffeine and niacinamide, which is funny because I use a caffeine and niacinamide serum in the morning for my under eyes like every single morning. I love this because it can provide a medium to full coverage kind of depending on how you're applying it. And I like to say you see the difference between this side of my face versus this one. I'd like to let you guys know too that there are some videos on here on my channel when I'm filming. You guys would not know that I would be wearing this. Exactly. They also have these glow drops that are absolutely stunning. I love a good hydrating glow. This again also has vitamin C and aloe vera to it. Then they have these tinted lip oils. So again, if you want like a little bit of something that adds some hydration, this has vitamin E, squalane, and other amazing oils that are really, really good for your lips. I have T45 right here and T41. I think I'm gonna go with T45. No, I'm gonna combine the two. That sounds more fun. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness. So my consensus for Typology is one, I absolutely love them. And if you're somebody who loves the natural look, if you want like a little bit of something, and if you want a tinted skincare that's going to be giving you skincare benefits while giving you this absolutely radiant look, this is going to be the vibe for you. They have tons of other products on their website, but if you guys are wanting to go in and try some of Typology's products, all you guys have to do is go to the link in the description below. And with your purchase of $50 or more, you also get a free radiance mask that has yellow clay and turmeric in it. That is, I'm telling y'all, it is so lovely on the skin. I'm really locked into masks recently. Thank you so much to Typology for sponsoring today's video and giving me this absolutely radiant look. And now let's get into it. Imagine you come across somebody who's talking about opening up a grocery store in New York and they're generating this entire series that they're wanting to like show you behind the scenes and building a business online, like publicly, but then also connecting you in onto like what things are going to be there. Oh, hey, I'm trying some like cheeses or honeys that are going to be a part of this, right? Originally, I saw Meadow Lane in the process as it was being built a while ago on social media. I was really fascinated by this because I love seeing founders, creators that are building businesses, but publicly, and they're kind of bringing you along the process because stuff like this is not really talked about a lot. And so as someone who wants to have her own hands and stuff like that in the future, it's really fascinating to see what people do, what that looks like, pricing, you get it. So we have this creator by the name of Brokeback Contessa, and he decided to make a entire page that is now dedicated to being the founder and CEO of the grocery store Meadow Lane. They only have one location right now, and he's taking people along the journey of what's happening, the products that they're buying, etc. Now, for me, I was actually quite interested in this business. Like genuinely, I think it's very brave to be a founder of a grocery store or just anything in general so publicly like that, because usually people want to hide when they up. Okay. So being open like that, I think is really impressive. And number two, I know there are certain aspects that we can't expect perfection from businesses. Certain things may fail. Manufacturing may have a problem. There are some levels of business that is out of your control and it just happens, but it's a matter of how you handle that when it happens. Because it's inevitable something bad's going to happen here and there, but what are you going to do about it? And did you have a level of control? And what are you going to do to address your customers in your target demographic so that way they have trust in you? And that's where my problem kick in with this. So Meadow Lane is essentially like a gourmet food luxury grocery store that has pretty much popped off on social media. It's almost like the New York Erewhon is like the best way that I could describe it right now, because Erewhon is mainly going to be in like, California. That's like the big like hub. New York has their own versions, of course, of different grocery stores, but I don't know if they've 100% expanded into the demographic of a luxury grocery store. Social media allowed for the entire idea of Meadow Lane to grow and gain popularity, which then allowed it to where other creators or individuals just in general were wanting to go check out the store when it finally opened up. And it was popping. Like there was a line waiting outside, and it honestly looked very pretty. I'm going to be so real with you. I wish we brought back more creative and pretty architecture that was aesthetically pleasing. Like to me, if I was able to walk into a grocery store that had nice calming light instead of like that, oh, don't get me started on that gas fluorescent lighting. So let me show you a video real quickly of Meadow Lane and what was inside.
I finally got to try Meadow Lane and I spent $200. So let's go through everything that I got. I went at 6:30 on a Wednesday and there was no line. The space is so beautiful in person. They were sold out of most prepared foods, but they did have some Caesar salads and this soba noodle bowl, which was literally a 10 out of 10. I also got this sourdough bread, this spicy vodka sauce, and the squash soup. The snack section was perfectly organized. They had some of my favorite items. I got this chocolate bar and I'm very excited to try this Montauk General Store matcha. The oat milk was $15, so I passed on that. Of course, the florals were absolutely gorgeous. And yes, this place is pricey, but I'm already excited to come back and try it.
I think it's the first time in a while where I'm kind of speechless. Couple things just so far from this creator's video. One, the layout is phenomenal. Dude, I really do think it's beautiful. So I get why people were incredibly attracted to it. And like I said, I wish we brought back more pretty or calming or pleasing, something that is different than the typical shit we see every single day. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that would just be appealing. Also, number one, when I'm analyzing this luxury grocery store, there's a couple things that I am focusing on. That's also the experience that you're getting while going into that. Because if it looks like your everyday average Joe bullshit, I am going to be a little bit pissed. You know what I mean? I'll be like, why would anyone want to walk in here? Now, another reason why some people were not a fan of the Meadow Lane grocery store was because people have been perceiving it as out of touch. And I think it's completely up for conversation here, because I would love to discuss the pros and cons when it comes to grocery stores that are luxury. So number one, we already have like more luxury, like 5-star or Michelin restaurants that exist right now when it comes to like culinary art and restaurants, and some things are harder to get. But I do think that there is a level of, okay, what is enough? Like there are some, if you see on TikTok or anywhere else, where there are some restaurants that have like a very expensive, crazy expensive multi-course meal. It's not really creative. It just looks like lazy as hell. It needs to offer something of significance, something different. And I also believe that there needs to be room for luxury things. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because there are some restaurants that I've gone to, for example, that are worth it, dude, that were amazing, that somebody is able to perfect a specific food type. So I don't want to discredit the idea that we just need to ban the concept of luxury. I don't like that at all. But at the same time, I do think that some of the stuff can become out of touch when we are paying prices for things that aren't premium. And that's what I want to mention is, if I'm paying, for example, a milk product that is harder to get. Like I went into Whole Foods the other day and I got 2 different cheeses for a very specific pasta recipe that I wanted to make. And the pasta recipe that I needed a specific cheese for, it was more expensive. I was paying far more money for the type of milk it was made from. And so that made sense to me, right? Or I'm paying more for something to be prepared. You're paying premium, you're getting premium. I don't like it though when we're suddenly getting into this world where bare bones basics are overcharged. For example, I should not walk into a place like Meadow Lane, and I'm not saying this as fact, I'm saying this as an example or a hypothetical, but if I walk in and if I have to pay $7 for an orange, I think you need to get beat with the orange. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're crazy. So if it is special customized food and you are getting in a luxury, really good experience with buying the prepackaged food, if you are getting like something that is hard to find, if these ingredients are very expensive, if they're incredibly healthy for you, then I understand charging that price. So if it is more of, a curated experience, expensive luxury grocery store. I understand that. The problem that I had with Erewhon previously, though, was the fact that we were over glorifying basic shit that should not be that expensive, right? Because then we get into the world of, okay, well, what is enough? Do other stores go, dang, like, I mean, for example, is Walmart gonna look at this and go, shit, maybe we should update our style and aesthetic in the stores just a little bit more, charge maybe a tiny bit more because they'll have to. And then we, you know what I mean? Like, is it gonna keep pushing this economy of paying far more for bare minimum necessities? Because if you walk into a Meadow Lane, I think people should wanna do it because they can and they're getting something better or different. But when it comes to the, you know, basic necessities and whatnot and things that aren't like intricate and different, I don't think that needs to be charged for. So oat milk, for example, I am incredibly confused on why oat milk would be $15. I really am. Like, but that's just my analysis over luxury pros and cons here. But now let's look at the actual controversies in Meadow Lane. First thing is the rat problem. Let's get into it. Okay, number one, that's a mouse. My bad. I'm a little sorry. I'm waking up still, okay? When it comes to your grocery store, and if you're doing that, you need to make sure your shit is taken care of. Now, one of those little critters are very creative and they can't get into anything. And you know, this was posted up by somebody else just looking into the window. But that absolutely draws for concern that something maybe isn't done right, because the second video was what really pushed the controversy even further, was the raw chicken nuggets.
Does that look like cooked chicken to you? Wait, not to be a hater, but I've been thinking about these all day. So I went to Meadow Lane this morning and I think my chicken nuggets were raw, and I thought I was just like confusing myself, and then I posted something on my story and people were like, oh, mine were raw too. Cut another one open. This was the one I like, literally the only thing I've eaten was this one, and I bit into it and this is what it looked like.
I have a texture issue when it comes to chicken. It's eggs and chicken that really, like, if chicken, I don't know how to describe this, and if you get it, please let me know. But if chicken tastes too much like chicken, like if it tastes too much like I'm biting into meat, cannot do it. If I bite into, and if I get a weird piece of egg, or if it's too wet, oh my God, I get nauseous. I'm like, I literally can't do it. Like, I'm getting back in the gym, trying so hard to eat more eggs and chicken and all that shit. And I am fighting for my life over here. So send over your thoughts and prayers, y'all. It's kind of rough. That would have ruined my night. I'm going to be also, with how expensive they are, this should never be happening. I'm assuming have brand new equipment. Your shit's fucking up like that? I thought I was paying for luxury.
And I was like, that looks a little bit raw to me. I don't know, like, these are cold right now, but does that look raw?
Mama, that's, I almost said something incredibly inappropriate. I will not say that. That's as raw as fill in the blank with something else, Bella.
Raw to you. If it's just like, if they're just like juicy chicken nuggets, but I'm like, this looks pink. It most definitely looks like pink to me. So I don't know if I should like cook them more, or this is the one that I ate earlier, which I feel like is probably like, does that look like cooked chicken to you? There's no hate going on.
So that was another thing that people are like, maybe this guy is not actually putting in as much effort. Maybe he's more for the vibes and just taking people's money instead of actually offer something unique. Because for me, when I'm thinking of a luxury grocery store, I'm also thinking of things that like people can't have access to on the regular, because like stuff I'm not going to find in Walmart, right? Like unique ingredients or special goods that I literally usually wouldn't be able to get my hands on unless I like went to Italy, I went to France, that kind of stuff, right? Special things that are harder to get that would make sense, and I would spend money on that. That would piss me off. Anyways, this video got a lot of views, and naturally, I would assume as a founder who has documented their business publicly, I would assume that you'd be incredibly adamant to address shit quick. There were apparently mislabeled products. So you know, when it comes to grocery stores and any pre-prepared foods, there needs to be labels on there and disclaimers that are talking about if there are like milk, soy, or eggs or anything in the items or the recipe or whatever you want to call it, to give a disclaimer disclaimer so people with food allergens can avoid the product. Like I have a friend of mine who he cannot have eggs, he cannot have dairy, like he has specifications that we have to follow. So we're like combing through labels, trying to make sure that nothing bad is there. Otherwise, it's going to make him sick and miserable. And some of this stuff can be incredibly deadly for some. This is another really alarming thing for me is when I see things that are mislabeled, these accidents, like especially with food allergies, that is such a lawsuit waiting to happen. So these things happening right now, and then the reviews of like, this feels out of touch, this feels inappropriate, have genuinely added to the consensus of why people don't like it. But the last thing I want to mention is the pricing and how expensive everything is. So let me show you a video about the cost.
Meadow Lane review speedrun, $154 total. Chinese chicken salad, 21 bucks. Not bad, 7 out of 10. Miso salmon bowl, 24 bucks. Sure, 6.2 out of 10.
I only want food reviews to kick off in chaotic ways. If you guys ever see me doing a food review, I need to be like obnoxious as hell with it, apparently.
Tenders, 17 bucks. 5.1, 8.9. Crab salad, 34 bucks. Masa chips, 14 bucks. 4.2. The chicken salad, 12 bucks. Needs salt, not bad, 6.3. Caramelized onion dip, 6.1. They didn't have a lot of things because I went at like 10:30, so a lot of the hot stuff was not out, including the chicken nuggets, which I really wanted to try. But I heard those kind of sucked anyway, so all good there. Toffee peanut butter cookie, 7.4. Not bad. Okay, that's it. Goodbye.
Let's go to Meadow Lane because they're donating all of their profits today to City Meals on Wheels.
Very aesthetic in here. $12 grapes are here.
18.
12. Okay, and this is where I have a problem with the luxury grocery store. Because what do you mean $12 grapes? What do you mean $12? Why is that a thing? What are the specifications to make that happen? And that's nuts? Okay. And here's the thing: I'm all for supporting a small business. Okay, certain prices because things are handmade. Personally, don't mind spending more money on that. I have a problem when some of these people are charging for very unrealistic prices. Like, there are so many other food, like what are the shit? Are they like vegetable stand, like grocery stand? There's many places like that I'm sorry, I'm not finding the proper term. I don't live there yet. There are locations where you can get fruit and vegetables and some basics as well that are not even going to be that expensive when it comes to even New York. So that is crazy to me. Regardless, $12 for grapes is fucking nuts.
$1 eggs.
They're sold out.
I'm gonna get the chicken salad.
There's no price. $12. Okay. Lots of chicken. Not a bad price because I've been here.
They got lemmy. Want something crunchy for the chicken salad? Or these, well, the other ones are...
See, this is upsetting because I feel like this guy had such a really cool opportunity, in my opinion, to show off small businesses, have it to where it's more realistic and be more transparent about pricing. So if, for example, there was something unique about the grapes, okay, hear me out. Or if he's like, hey, due to the fact that we're starting up, this is the price, this is what we're looking at. I just want to be transparent. Since he's trying to build it publicly, that would make more sense to me. But regardless, I'm still with the fact that we have like raw chicken nuggets, mislabeling. I'm seeing a mouse here. It's not giving me the vibe of luxury. It's giving me the vibe of again, the landlord special. We're slapping over the white paint over the roach, hoping that people are going to give a fuck and want to stay in the apartment. And this is a beautiful store. I just think that it needs to have some cleanup. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, there was some controversy in how some people were calling out Meadow Lane for some stuff. And see, this upsets me because I literally want people to succeed so badly for anything, but I don't like it when people do it unethically or in a way that makes no sense. So he was called out a lot for the raw chicken nuggets, for everything like that. So I want to show you the founder's video. And this is the thing that really made me go, I'm good off of Meadow Lane, I
want to talk about building a business in public. What's happening right now is probably the exact reason why so many founders avoid building a business in public. The fear of immense and persistent scrutiny. I left the world of venture capital and finance because making money, and lots of it, did not fulfill me. It didn't give me purpose. It certainly didn't give me fulfillment. I had the ultimate luxury and privilege to do what I was passionate about. And at the time, I was always passionate about food. I became very passionate about flowers during the pandemic, and I left venture capital to become a florist. And I loved it. I fell in love with it. And it was there where I realized that I wanted to pursue it full time and eventually opened my own flower shop. That was the original idea for Meadow Lane, a flower coffee shop. I incorporated food in the model because I realized there was a big hole for prepared foods, at least I thought, in New York City, at least compared to Los Angeles. The hateful narratives that I experienced on the internet, particularly TikTok, where he's incapable of opening his store, he's not driven, he's not motivated, he's never had to work a day in his life, he's a drug addict, he's never amounted to anything, he's never struggled, and much more. Attacking my appearance, attacking how old I look, all sorts of assumptions and bullying, for lack of a better word. Now that I have opened Meadow Lane, it's only been 3 days, the trolls had to switch gears because I did the thing that
I do not like unnecessary harassment of people, as you guys know. If you don't like an idea, I get it, that's valid. And sometimes we need to focus on target demographic. Does it make actual sense? And is there a space for it? How the business is being made, etc. Harassing people for no reason simply because you don't like something is not fair. What I am having a problem with is, oh, well, the trolls are coming at it again. And so almost like invalidating the legit comments. But to me, if you're getting told, hey, we have raw chicken nuggets and mislabeling, and I think it's pricey, I think the best way for a founder to get on this is say, hey, look, you know what? I see a lot of questions. I see a lot of concerns. I saw something that concerned me. Oh, we're handling this right now. Here's what I'm doing. Here's information to tell you about it. Because at least you're being transparent. You're following the concept that you already started to begin with. And you're not like completely saying and disregarding the actual legitimate concerns that some people have. Because don't get me wrong, there's some weirdos out there. No matter what you do, they're going to be mad. But I'm not appreciative right now of how this founder is handling it, which is why I'm not fucking with this brand. I'm just not.
That they said I would never do. So they need to find some other vulnerability to attack and to exploit. It's like they're waiting for the ball to drop. They're waiting for you to slip up. They're grasping at anything they can use as leverage to your demise. And I'm talking about this because if you're going to build your business in public, you need to prepare yourself for this. You absolutely need to be sure. Can you handle this? It's not a couple comments. The more popular you get, the more engagement you have, the more followers, the more fans, the more people like you and resonate with you, the more negativity and bullying and trolling you will receive. Guaranteed, it happens to everyone. You could be Mother Teresa. It'll happen. So you need to prepare yourself for that. And I don't know if you can actually fully prepare yourself, but it's something to consider. It is. You are always going to be under a microscope. You know, if you're doing this, if you're building your business in public, I am going through this too, and I'm having my own learnings as a result of it, and maybe this can help someone.
I do understand the idea of connecting with other people or building with businesses online. However, this feels like you are getting to listen in on a closed circle conversation. This doesn't feel like they are bringing in the consumer with bringing awareness and also connecting to the valid concerns, which I also think is like, no shit, the hate is going to kick up now because it sounds like you just don't care. Like you're saying, I'm passionate, but more passionate about money and other people who are in the positions as you. And that is not how you handle controversy, in my opinion. If you're going to have backlash from a business, it sucks. It's painful. I would be gutted. I know because I'd be like, what the fuck? I work so hard. And that's a valid emotion, but approaching it as, okay, well, I mean, if you get it, if you're not alone, like people are going to really hate on you. You're not acknowledging specifically, hey, people who are being unrealistic, and then the realistic, valid comments that are calling out the raw chicken nuggets and the other financial concerns. So I'm not going to show the rest of that video there because it was just, I'm going to be honest with you, just a big overpriced word salad. Yapping about things that really were not in relation to the actual problem of the company. And so this is exactly why I am not a fan of Meadow Lane. So I do believe though that this concept is incredibly smart for a couple of reasons, but I don't like Meadow Lane in general. I like having the idea of curated foods and trying new things, especially if you want to try foods that are not in your typical like range of what you buy, right? Unique items, novelty items, small businesses. You can utilize this opportunity to promote other charities and events. Like I think the concept is great. We keep seeing people that aren't doing it right. That's what I find weird. Like the Erewhon smoothie stuff, I don't mind, but I think it's been overhyped in a way that doesn't really actually stand valid with what's inside of the product itself. Or maybe some of the supplements that they sell, it's like some of it's just like bullshit. It doesn't actually help the person. If there was more of an aesthetically pleasing, like science-based products inside, unique things that are hard to find, stuff that's really, really intricate to others, I genuinely think that this would be good. And here's the thing, this grocery store is going to be successful. Many people like it. Many people go out of sheer curiosity. It's almost turning into like entertainment more than groceries. And for people who just like whip out the Amex and it's like they literally have money flowing out of their ass, it's not that hard. It's going to be just a quick, easy, well, it's like going to a Walmart for them. It's simple. The negatives when it comes to concepts like this are when a founder isn't being honest and isn't considerate of the target demographic and consumers. When we have products that are not up to standard, up to code, health codes, for example, and also just not considerate of the fact that it could be dangerous. When we're not offering anything unique, you're just utilizing an aesthetic and putting a price tag on it. To me, it's the same thing as when somebody sells like an MRR course, right? It's like, hi, oh my God, I'm charging $500 for this course. And it can help you out a lot. But in reality, the substance of the course is not shit. There's nothing going on in there. Same thing to me when it comes to Meadow Lane. Meadow Lane right now is an example of you're paying a lot of money for subpar shit. And I don't think that's acceptable regardless. Like people don't have a problem with spending money on things that are worth it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there is a level we got to relax on because some stuff is being overpriced for no reason. But I have no problem spending more money at a small business if it's a really good quality product. I have no problem spending money on a really, really nice cheese from Whole Foods. I have no problem spending money on something like that if I'm actually getting my value and it's not a waste and just word vomit, stupid, overpriced, overhyped, like claiming to be an expensive milk when it's a $15 oat milk. That's stupid. And a part of me is thinking that it's leaning more into the idea of like an aesthetic tax. Like you're genuinely paying for it's like when certain designers are simply like they're not actually offering quality pieces, but they just have a name brand and that's what like you're paying for the name. I think you're just paying for the vibes and aesthetic after a certain point because like I really, really don't want to just be like a hater with everything. I don't like that with content, but I really am struggling to find the reason why a small bag, mind you, a small bag of grapes is $12. Like I swung by a Whole Foods, stayed at like the Arlo Nomad, and I swung by Whole Foods because I wanted to grab some stuff and they didn't even have pricing like that. So I just do not find this to be a realistic thing. And I think it's just kind of like a bullshit excuse. And at the end of the day, I'm so tired of founders not taking responsibility. And that's what kills me is I sit here and I'm like, I know I have experienced unrealistic, very mean people in my lifetime as this is my career. But on the flip side, there are many people who are realistic, who do listen, who are wanting to see you succeed. And so it bothers me so deeply because I'm like, it's not that hard to acknowledge, apologize, and improve. It's so simple. It's so simple to say, look, I did fuck up. Or, hey, I noticed that this is not up to standard and that's not acceptable. And that's not what I want, but X, Y, and Z happened. And this is what we're going to do about it. Just so you know, we're not fucking off and we're not just a waste of time and money. That builds that reputation. And I feel like we are lacking that connectivity with consumers. So like, no shit, you're getting backlash. Like you are setting yourself up for failure because you lack empathy and considering other people outside of yourself. Like I hate the fact that we are willing to do research on your target demographic's favorite aesthetic over how they like to be communicated to. That pisses me off so bad. So here's the thing. If I was a part of Meadow Lane, this is exactly what I would quote unquote want to do to fix it. And I put some in my notes here. First of all, correct the food safety problems immediately and make that clear. Labeling it allergens, making it to where it's safe and also addressing that because I don't think people are going to feel very safe if you don't. Then introducing, I honestly think if they decided to rotate a certain menu every single week that dropped the price of a product that is in high demand. So if you have a product that's really, really good and you want to entice people to say that it is worth spending the money, give it a discount maybe. Honestly, I would be like, hey, this is the item of the week. This is the discount we're going to give. And this is like just to introduce people to the item itself or something to that like concept. And so then people may go, okay, this is so worth buying it or maybe not. Regardless, if your product is that good, they're definitely going to want to buy it. Like I'm telling you right now, I have had PR sent to me before and there is a facial cream. I shit you not. A facial cream is $70. That sounds crazy, right? I have plowed through 3 containers of it. 3. It was so good. I said, it's worth it. Your product can 100% stand. And if your target demographic is someone who's looking for luxury, they will buy it. And you may actually surprisingly bring in a different demographic who may not typically spend the money, but simply because they realize the value is there and it is that good, they're going to want to come back. So if you find ways of catering to other people, you're going to have more success. Also, community partnership partnerships I think would be very, very important as well. Bringing in more small businesses, unique snacks, like bringing in to where it doesn't look like, how do I say this? It doesn't look like a whitewashed grocery store that has unseasoned chicken salad. You see what I'm saying? Like that's not going to work for me, because I'm telling you right now, respectfully, it did not look yummy. Okay. It just did not look yum to me. I need more flavor. You can have flavor and uniqueness in food that also is luxury and healthy for you. Okay. We need to break that stigma down immediately, but connecting with other grocers or chefs and things like that, pulling them in could also create amazing connectivity and bring in more partnership opportunities that could also lead to like charity events and donations and stuff that could actually make it to where the passion for quality food that connects to every consumer can exist. And last but certainly not least, address your bullshit and then lean into it. I think that's the best thing that you can. And what I really applaud with people is when they lean into their ups and go like, yeah, I did do that and I did something about it. Lean into it, okay? Stop doing this whole, I don't see it, I don't know what's going on. Girl, just lean into it, okay? I think that's so simple, but I think some of these businesses are missing some of the basic core details that would make them 10 times more successful than what they are. And I believe the idea of playing it like safe is actually more harmful in the long term. So what do I think about this? I don't with Meadow Lane personally, and unless I see any like improvements, even with some of the things that I mentioned, that I'm kind of like, yeah, that's kind of, girl. I mean, if I am ever up there, I almost thought about going in out of sheer curiosity, but in general, I'm just turned off by the idea of that because of the founder. But I always am, again, I love a good redemption arc. I like people improving. But moral of the story, the concept is there. I think the concept is great. I just think that some of this stuff is not being handled in a way that actually makes sense and connects people and offers a level of value that people are willing to spend the money on. So yeah, that is my 2 cents on it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this topic? It's quite interesting, I might add. Don't forget to check out the sponsor in today's video and the link in the description below. And I will see you guys later. Sorry, my fur baby is snoring next to me, but I love you guys. Bye.